Jennifer, welcome to the show. How are you?
Good. How are you? Thanks for having me.
I'm
Chris.
so excited that we're connected because it feels like we've been missing each other all these years. We know the same people in the same networks, and finally we bumped into each other at Unleash as well. So,
It's been great.
yeah. So before we jump in, you've got such an incredible background and journey. Share that with everyone, and then let us know more about your journey to where we are now.
Well, thank you. Yes, I've been pretty blessed. I have been a chief people officer, or back then chief human resource officer, since 2001 for publicly traded companies. And I think what I've been able to do is grow those companies when they're anywhere from 100 to 300 million in revenue and help them become multi-billion. And I really enjoy that work because I can build a really strong HR infrastructure while also helping transform the business.
Yeah, you're being too nice. You should share some of the companies.
Yeah,
Okay,
don't be humble. She's like, I've been blessed. I'm like, no, Queen, you have worked so hard and partnered with some of the most marquee brands in the world. Tell us more.
So the first one is Shock, which you probably haven't heard of, but they really were a niche company that supported big CPGs like Procter & Gamble and Unilever. So that was where I cut my teeth. And then I went into Align Technology, which is Invisalign.
Everyone knows it for Invisalign.
It's a
Yeah.
perfect smile.
Yeah.
And then I had the opportunity to work with Pat Waters at ServiceNow.
Amazing. Shout out to Pat. She's an amazing
Yes,
person.
Pat, thank you for giving me that opportunity. And then went to Roku. And then my last gig was with Cradlepoint, which was bought by Ericsson.
Wow. So what are you up to now? Tell everyone what you're up to now.
So right now I've been doing advisory work for 3 HR tech companies that are like just at the seed level, little babies, trying to figure out how to help us with AI.
Yeah. And on that point,
Yeah, and on that point, like if you were starting now as a CHRO in this climate that is just booming with AI, what would you do differently?
Yeah,
as
I think
CHRO?
that's a great question because I've always been limited in my budget for HR.
who hasn't been?
Yeah.
And when you're trying to build while the airplane is flying, you need a lot of support, and you kind of overwhelm your HR teams. And so instead of building the same structure of an HR team that I've built in the past, that's headcount heavy, I would be really leveraging these AI tools and maybe even some AI agents to help scale the business more efficiently with less burnout.
Yeah. Where would you start? Because that's one of the problems for our audience. Like you can apply AI to everything. At every stand
Where's
you
the
see.
low-hanging fruit?
Yeah. Like where do you think you have the most
when
impact?
budget's tight? Yeah.
Well, I think transactional HR could get the biggest lift. So I'm a board advisor for Wayside. And Wayside is doing shared services. So they're helping with AI agents that live in the world that your employees live in, meaning Teams, Slack, email. And they go and take that work and put it into the HR world for you or answer those questions. Because you find that you want to give good service to your employees, but there's millions and millions of questions and you can't get to everything. And so these AI agent can really maneuver through and improve the overall employee experience.
Yeah. I think that's like a must-have now. If you're an AI tool that doesn't, you have to integrate in the flow of work.
Yes.
So having those questions surface in Teams and in Slack, and then bring that back and train the agent, and then the agent can then update the systems.
Correct.
You're removing hours and hours of work.
And it removes that employee self-serve that we've been doing the last 15 years.
Yeah.
So you're like, I'm going to have a baby. What do I do? And they're like, are you having a dependent? No,
Yeah.
employees don't think that way. And so using AI can help create a better overall employee experience and not make them think the way HR people think.
Yeah.
And speaking of thinking, what mindsets and skills do you think are most relevant for HR leaders to stay on top of, all of these trends?
Yeah, I think that's a great question. I think it's all about us leading the charge. We ride at night as an HR leader. And so we need to be ahead of this AI. We need to be the strategist and to work with the business because we run org designs.
Yeah.
And so if we're taking the business strategy, turning those into objectives, and then designing the organization, AI is going to be a big part of it. In addition, we're going to have to also manage those AI agents just like we do employees. So
Yeah.
I think we have a huge role to become even bigger business leaders within our respective companies.
HR has never worn more hats than
No,
now.
keep going.
Very
Where do you draw the line though, right, between people and technology?
Yeah.
Because that line's getting more and more blurred. Yes, it's great to automate. Yes, it's great to have those efficiencies. But there's this danger that we almost depersonalize it and we go too far down the technology route and lose that personal touch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The humanity of it all.
Yes, the humanity of it all. Yes, exactly.
I think that's also what HR leaders, that's our responsibility, is to keep that human and that employee in the center of it all. And if you think about it, if I am a payroll leader, I can use AI to take away a lot of that transactional work that can actually probably run the numbers more accurately than a human can do. And then I can do more value added work, like giving good reports to the leadership team about where payroll is or where we have opportunities, and just be more strategic than transactional. And so I think we partner with each of the leaders in the different functions to build that human AI function.
Yeah. How have you stayed ahead in terms of your own personal growth and development? You know, when I started doing this 20 years in the age of personnel, right? Let alone HR.
Yes, I'm long in tooth as well.
Yeah. Like, how do you constantly update your own skills and continue to innovate and stay ahead?
Well, right now I'm using AI. You know, ChatGPT is my friend. And so I just ask a lot of questions, or I'll even take a book that someone said, read this book, and I'll ask AI to give me an executive summary of the book.
Yeah.
And key points, and I'll ask questions.
For CHRO, yeah.
Yeah. So, you know, I love reading, but sometimes, you know, I have 3 children and a lot going on. And so I really use ChatGPT to help me.
Yeah, me too. I think like there isn't probably any part of my workflow in my life and work life, even personal life, to be honest, that I'm not leveraging AI in some way to just be more efficient as well. What advice would you give to HR leaders that are quite new on this journey? Because many, even though we talk about it every day in our roles, that's maybe just a few. Most people are now only just starting to look into AI.
Yeah, I just don't be afraid. Like, just jump in with, you know, both feet and start by just getting a ChatGPT account and just having conversations. Like, what are you? What can you do?
Yeah.
For me, you know, just keep it simple, but know that you have led through lots of unknown things. We were the leaders during the pandemic. We are going to be the leaders during AI. So don't be afraid and jump in.
Yeah.
And where would you invest first in terms of the HR AI tech stack? Like, if you hadn't, if you were thinking about jumping in the pool, like where?
I think I would go into shared services, or even the like intranet.
Yeah,
like that
it's
interface
insane
with the
still,
employee.
It's insane that most of the learning materials, policies, and content still live in an intranet.
Yes.
It's insane. And I can tell you, I speak with the biggest companies in the world every day, and they still have it there. And I'm like, and you wonder why no employee is accessing it or can find
and you're missing out on an
anything.
opportunity to advertise the great benefits and things
Yeah,
that
most
you
people don't even
have.
know what
that
they
you're
have.
investing in?
Yeah.
Most of my friends, I ask them, they're like, I have no idea what my policy is for that or my benefit is for that.
And it's such a nice interface with AI because they adapt to you.
Yeah.
You don't have to adapt to them.
Yeah.
And that's the way the intranet was. That the employee would have to figure out how to maneuver through the intranet. But AI will help figure out what you're looking for.
The main difference between that and the internet is it has a memory.
Yeah.
Right. Imagine if all of this, everything we did before had a memory. It'd be amazing because then it knows more about you than you even know about yourself at a certain point.
Yes. That's a little scary, but
Is
yeah.
there anything that we missed that we should have
No,
asked
this has
you?
been a great conversation.
Yeah?
I thank you for having me.
No. What's next for you? Where can people connect with you and reach out and say hi?
Yeah. So right now I've been doing a lot of advisory work and some fractional work. And so if you're interested in having me kind of help, especially if you're in a growth mode and you need scaling, then you can reach me on my LinkedIn account.
Amazing. And we'll link that in below wherever you're watching or listening. That'll be a link in the description. You better hurry up though before Jennifer gets snapped up by someone else.
Yeah,
She's hot commodity.
I'm looking for my next gig. I need that
Oh,
next
there we go.
$300 million company to hire me to help them grow something successful.
Amazing. Thanks for coming on. Appreciate you.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Congratulations. You're such an inspiration
Oh,
doing such
you're
important
too
work.
sweet. Thank you.
Thanks.